What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. I know I have not uploaded in over like a month or so, mainly because there hasn't been anything to talk about in terms of any breaking news. There has been rumors floating around, which I've been covering on my other social media platforms, which are linked in the description below. But today that has changed. Today is different. I'm back, and we have some breaking news. Today, the Phoenix Suns hired Jordan Ott, the former assistant coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs this year were pretty successful. They had a record of 64-18, and they were first in the Eastern Conference, although they did kind of have a disappointing playoff run this season. Still props to them, and I'm excited to see what Jordan Ott can do and bring to this team. A lot of people are kind of bringing, a bad stigma around Jordan Ott, mainly because he does have a Michigan State connection, just like, a lot of people within the front office, and just like the owner, Matt Ishbia. And if you're a little bit confused about why is that a bad thing, a lot of people within the Suns fan base, and myself included, because we just hired a GM that has no NBA experience at all, and pretty much just seems like Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, hired his best friend that was his dorm buddy at Michigan State to be the GM of the Phoenix Suns. I think it's unfair to judge Jordan Ott based off that, mainly because this dude's a fucking grinder, and he's been in the NBA for 11 years, and he's been in various roles within, different teams. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know Jordan Ott as a person, or I know of him a lot. I just did a lot of research, and I actually have some notes down below here that I'm going to share about Jordan Ott, so that myself and you guys watching this video can get in tune with who he is, so that we know who the Phoenix Suns head coach is going to be for the coming seasons. But yeah, like I said, Jordan Ott has been a head coach for 11 years now. He got his first gig in 2013 with the Atlanta Hawks, being a video coordinator, so didn't get a coaching role right off the bat. But yeah, he was there for 3 years, from 2013 to 2016. And then he finally got his first assistant coach role with the Nets in 2016. Now I do kind of have a fun story to share about Jordan Ott's tenure with the Brooklyn Nets. I do know someone that, kind of knows about the Nets a little bit, and he shared a story about Jordan Ott, and I guess Jordan Ott is pretty good when it comes to connecting with players, so that's a plus. I guess Jordan Ott's the type of guy that has handshakes with everyone, which, compared to what Mike Budenholzer was last season, I'll take it. From 2016 to 2022, he was the assistant coach with the Nets, and then after that, from 2022 to 2024, he was the Lakers assistant coach. And now, this previous year, he just joined Kenny Atkinson in being part of his coaching staff as well. He understands team operations, and he understands player development. He's been a part of some great teams. He's been a part of the Kyrie, Kevin Durant, James Harden Nets teams, and then, obviously he was a part of the LeBron and AD on the Lakers. So I think Jordan Ott has a lot to bring to the table. He's not just some random dude that they found on the street that was wearing a Michigan State sweater, and they said, hey, you're going to be the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. He obviously has the credentials, and he's grinded, and he finally got his opportunity, and we're going to see what he can do with it. Now, there is some cons that come with that. It's his first time being a head coach, so it's probably going to be a struggle the first season, potentially. He's either going to struggle, which, it's going to be tough right off the bat. We're not sure what this roster is going to look like, so there's that as well. But just the pressure and the expectations, and I just think the fan base is going to be just throwing hate mail at him, pretty much, just because of the Michigan State connection. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Jordan Ott, mainly because, we had Frank Vogel and Mike Budenholzer that, we brought in, and we thought, one of those guys to still be the head coach, but they haven't succeeded. So we're just kind of looking for anything right now, and hopefully Jordan Ott can be that dude. The Suns went with a whole different direction in terms of the NBA head coaching race, and I think the Knicks are going to do the same thing as well. Instead of going for like a guy like Mike Malone, which some Suns fans wanted, just because they won a championship, so that qualifies him enough, even though he had Nikola Jokic on his team, the best player in the NBA. But they did go with someone that, is younger, more modernized with the game, someone that can connect with players. So I think that is huge. And I know Gambo, a Suns insider, reported, or he did say that, Jared Dudley could potentially become part of Jordan Ott's coaching staff. That is something that I would be game for. I know Dudley was rumored to be like one of potential candidates for the Suns head coaching position, just because he does have some coaching experience, I think, or it's like some assistant roles with like the Mavericks and such. He has that connection with Devin Booker, so that is something I would definitely be game for. And before you start blaming people and start pointing fingers about the Jordan Ott hire, you guys have to remind yourself that Devin Booker was in on these interviews for the last 5 candidates, so he does have a very pivotal role in this with Jordan Ott. He did give the go ahead, and he did endorse the hiring of this. I know the Phoenix Suns the past couple seasons didn't really go with what Book wanted as a head coach. He wanted Kevin Young, then he wanted Chauncey Billups, and just kind of didn't really listen to his word at all. So I think after the Mike Budenholzer disaster this season, with him telling Book to not be as vocal, they kind of went, they brought in the franchise cornerstone and they listened to him and be like, hey, which one of these guys do you think is going to be it? And he chose Jordan Ott over Johnny Bryant, and there was a reason for that. Jordan Ott, we don't know much about him. We're just pretty much gonna have to sit here and watch and just kind of sit back and just see what happens. I'm not gonna sit here and act like he's gonna be Greg Popovich or a Phil Jackson, a legendary head coach, but I'm not gonna sit here and trash the dude, because I saw Mike Budenholzer, and I don't think you can get much worse than that. Welcome to the Suns, Jordan Ott. I hope that the fan base does you well, and I hope you do well for us. I really want to see you thrive and succeed. But yeah, I also have another creator that I'm going to put in this video, Chris Lindsay Hoops. He kind of has some insight in the Jordan Ott hiring, so we're going to go ahead and see what he has to talk about.
All right, so I'm sure we all saw the news today. The Phoenix Suns have finally hired their head coach. They're going to be having Jordan Ott, longtime assistant, be the head coach of their team. Do you think it's going to be enough to keep KD there? If not, what's going to be the move for him? I guess that'll be something else that we have to discuss. After looking at all the teams that he's worked for, he's worked with the Lakers. He's also worked with the Cavaliers and the Brooklyn Nets. He's a longtime assistant. Kind of like the hire. It looks like the Suns are going to go a bit younger in their coaching staff, which kind of seems like the best kind of thing to kind of do moving forward in the league, kind of getting some younger coaching. So that's pretty good for them. Yes, he is a Michigan guy. He's one of Matt Ishbia's guys for sure. The GM's Michigan, head coach, CEO, and Devin Booker's from Michigan. So you can see the ties there. It did say, per the reports from Shams, that he was connected to the hiring, Devin Booker, that is. So that's good that he signed off on it, signs of a franchise player. And doesn't look like he's going to be moved anytime soon. So hopefully he can have a competent roster around him that makes sense if KD is to get dealt. But I guess we'll see moving forward. We're going to be looking out for that news, hopefully by the draft. Probably hear something about KD, about where he might go, where he might end up, if he stays or not. Bradley Beal is still on the roster, so that's one thing that you got to keep in mind. So we'll see how the Suns go moving forward, but it should be interesting the rest of the summer. But shout out to Jordan Ott, shout out to the Suns, finally got your head coach.
With Chris's perspective being inserted in the video here, I think I'm going to go ahead and close it off. Shout out to you guys for showing love and support on all my platforms. I just wanted to get Chris's clip in there just to, provide some more insight and perspective from a different person that is not even a Phoenix Suns fan, so it's not as biased or, just something different. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, because there is going to be some crazy stuff happening in this NBA offseason for the Phoenix Suns, and I'm going to be sure to cover it all. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.